Hi, I'm Libby Hathorn and I've got something beautiful to show you today. My new book called Miss Franklin, which is about a little slice of the life of the famous writer, Australian writer, Miles Franklin. And I have worked with a very wonderful artist called Phil Lesnie, and a few years ago we worked together to do another lovely book called A Soldier, a Dog, a Boy, and he really brings his imagination and his wonderful artfulness to making a beautiful book. I mean, even to the end papers, which I love, and the end of the end papers is really important. I'm going to show that to you in a minute. But it's about a little girl, I've called her Imp, and about Miss Franklin when she's governessing out beyond Yass in the Australian countryside, and she's feeling a bit lonely and a bit like she wants to go to the city and she wants to write books. And do you know, it's a small child, a pretty rude small child, I'll add, who inspires her to get going again. Because the little girl says, well, you've got ink, I saw it, you've got a pen, you've got a nib, you've got paper books, I've seen them. What's stopping you, miss? And that makes Miles Franklin really laugh and say, I think you're right, what is stopping me? And so look, a wonderful thing happens out on that farm at the tiny end of a veranda. She begins to write her story, and her first book was called My Brilliant Career. And so this book here, the little girl's left something for Miss Franklin on the blackboard. She can scarcely read or write when Miss Franklin comes, but by the time she leaves, look at that, and here are those end papers I told you about. There she is, that's Imp, and what's she doing but sitting there reading. Now, a book like Miss Franklin, How Miles Franklin's Career Began, starts because you're inspired, because I loved My Brilliant Career, because I loved stories about her, because I went out to tell Bingo School, primary school in the Snowy Mountains, and they gave me a Miles Franklin Award for my talk, and because I saw where her house was, where she was born, and even though I'm sad to say it, tell Bingo, that's now underwater because it's part of a dam. And then the New South Wales State Library was a treasure trove. It's got all Miles Franklin's diaries. You know, they keep important people, writers and poets and artists work there for us to learn a whole lot about the past. And books like this one that were invaluable for me to get all the research done, then get my imagination going. And once that's happened, I wrote away and wrote for quite some time, left it for a while, came back to it, edited, re-edited, until finally I had a book I could send to my publisher, and the publisher edited it. And then finally, in about 3 weeks' time, this book's going to go out into the world, and that's what I wanted to tell you about today.